Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy, my channel's Finding Value, and today we're going to go over uranium technical analysis. I've done a lot of technical analysis before, putting on lots of patterns. Look at the Friday update for all the patterns that I put in there. Today I'm just going to look at the candlesticks themselves and what we're looking for. And to quickly read any chart is you're looking for a bunch of down days and small up days for a downward trend. That means the sellers are in control. Large up days and small down days, buyers are in control. So what you'll see is you'll see big moves higher and then small little pullbacks when the buyers are in control. So let's see what we see in these charts for technical analysis and that imbalance between buyers and sellers and who's winning. So here's URNM. So from this point on, you can see a lot of sellers starting to come and stack up. I think we've got a pullback here because there are no buyers stepping in to push this higher from about this point. I would say even from, man, you could even say from about this point on, it was starting to get kind of equalized. And then we've got more selling pressure here than buyers, but it is contracting some. I'm waiting for the buyers to step in here and paint a large bullish engulfing or bullish piercing or a hammer pattern. I will let you know when I see that, but right now I think we still have sideways to lower movement. Same with Camco. The positive thing is that it is contracting downward. The opening and closing prices of the candlestick days are getting closer and closer. And what that means is the buyers are starting to equal the sellers. The pressures are equaling out at 1818. You can see this little candlestick there, there, and there. So we're starting to slow its move. So sideways movement is probably what we're going to get before we head higher. Next gen, again, we're contracting down. In contracting down, I bet you we're going to see some sideways movement and choppiness out of this. Unless something happens overall where we get either higher or lower based off news. But right now, the buyers are starting to equal the sellers here. Fission uranium, we broke out of this pattern to the downside. We've got this nice big hammer pattern. Small little down days, another big move higher with the bullish engulfing. This one doesn't look bad to move higher. Now, is it going to buck the trend, the overall sector trend of a downtrend kind of? We'll see. But this one looks like it is turning around. I see positive developments to move to the upside here. UU, again, we still have sellers. There's no buyers really stepping in. I think this could go sideways to lower. UEC, based off of the buyers and sellers, we had a lot of selling pressure up here, big bearish engulfing candlestick, heading lower. We are contracting in the body stick candle size. The opening and closing prices are coming and merging together. So sideways is what I'm guessing. And I think this move is slowing down. Uranium Royalty Corporation. This one looks like it's consolidating or coming to a point before moving higher possibly. Nice big move higher, small little sell-off. Move higher. I bet you we're going to see a down day tomorrow. What I want to see are like one or two small down days, and then we'll move higher. That's what I'm looking for. Just a couple small down days where the sellers don't really step back in here. If they step back in here, we'll see what happens. I'll report it tomorrow. Now here's Denison Mines. This guy's just moving sideways. Again, there's no real direction here outside of just meandering sideways. Base load's looking a lot better. I like the way this one looks quite a bit. You can see that this thing's kind of putting in a bowl-shaped pattern, like we're rounding out and coming back up. Higher low than here. We have a downtrend break. We have a bullish engulfing candlestick here. I think we're going to head higher. We have more volume on the upward movement, a little pullback, and I think we're going to go for it. So I'm base load's kind of bucking the trend here. Sky Harbor, this guy, I think we're going to have more sideways movement out of it. We've got a lot of selling pressure here. See all these big, large down days coming right kind of to the 200-day. It popped higher, but it wasn't anything that I would say is meaningful and substantial in terms of buying pressure. We've pulled back a little bit, so I think we're going to continue to move sideways here a little bit longer. And then we'll see if we can paint a bullish candlestick or a reversal pattern and start moving higher. Canalaska, man, this one's difficult because you got all the selling pressure. You got this nice big up day and then the two small down days. This could bounce and go higher here. This one's looking pretty good. You've got this kind of short-term downtrend breaking. So this one doesn't look bad for Canalaska. Standard uranium, it's pulling back to this 20-cent area. It kind of touched it and did a retest of the breakout. So this one looks good too. Does not look bad. Fission 3.0, again, we got a downtrend break here. We've been moving sideways, and I think it's just going to continue to move sideways. The overall sector is coming under pressure to the downside and starting to try to bottom out in some of these companies. Fission's probably doing the same thing. Centrus Energy, we broke the downtrend right here. We back tested, and it looks fine. Doesn't look too bad. Lightbridge looks like it wants to head lower. This is I'm gonna zoom in on this section here to show you what I mean. This is like the classic continuation pattern. The big down days here, you get a little reversal candlestick, comes up and contracts. This is going to head lower. For sure, this thing's going to head lower is my guess. Because of these large selling pressure, the buyers barely pushed it back higher. It's contracting into a point, which means the buyers equal the sellers, and I think the sellers are going to step in here and push and drive it lower. Deep yellow coming in here. You got this this kind of trend line pattern coming down. It's all just moving sideways in a very tight, consolidated move. So this is where the buyers equal the sellers right here. So more sideways. Bannerman is putting in these big kind of bearish engulfings, which means that it could go lower. But, huge but here, these small companies can sometimes throw false signals. But as of right now, with these two bearish engulfings, it could sell off a little bit. But we've got a lot of support right here at 12 cents. We'll see if it breaks the 12-cent mark. Goviax Uranium, this one's not looking too bad. I'd like to see the buyers step in here. We got a nice big up day and then the leak off of the sellers. We still have a little bit more size on this candlestick here. I wish it was more contracted. And these guys are small, so the buyers haven't stepped in here either. Man. And this guy's pretty large down day and two small up days. It could roll over here and break down. But this one's difficult to read. I'm going to say sideways. Laramide doesn't look too bad. We got the two big punches higher, big pressure, big buying pressure. It went to sell off, but it's nice, small, contracted days. So I think the buyers are in control here now. And I'd say, based off just the candlestick, that it looks solid to move higher. The only problem is the entire sector, it's like some are weak, some are turning around. So hopefully these things turn around. At least we get, half the sector turn around. It could be good. Forces Metals looks pretty, looks solid compared to everything else. The two big up days on big volume and then the slow selling off. It's controlled sell off. I think we'll probably get a little small down day here, or hopefully we open lower and end higher with a big bullish engulfing. That'd be what I'm looking for. Forum Energy Metals, this one still doesn't look too bad either. Two large up days and then the slow leak off of sellers here. We do have support all through this area right below it. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. UEX looks pretty good too. You got these large sell-off and it's kind of coming to a point and contracting. We're throwing some up days here. So this one could turn I think we're bottoming, maybe a little bit more sideways to action before moving higher. But this one, we're coming into this nice support back here at 28 cents. It couldn't break it, and there's buyers down here. So that doesn't look bad. So overall, what does it look like? Half the sector looks like it wants to pull back or go sideways. The other half looks like it's starting to kind of flatten out, trying to turn back up. Let's continue to monitor it. And some of these companies, I would not be afraid to add in a little bit of money if you're a long-term holder, like UEXCF looks good, and some of these other ones like Baseload looks good. There's other ones that I mentioned that I wouldn't, I would add a little bit of money here. I wouldn't be waiting per se for the entire sector, because these do look like they're turning around. They do look pretty good. But if the whole sector does sell off, it could drag everything with it. So that's your risk. Your risk is if this gets caught in a sell-off, it could bring everything down for the short term. For the long term, everything, I think it's going to go higher based off of dollar weakness and inflation. So if you guys like this content, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.